simple. I didn't denounce the black man by saying she's God. How come when I say she's God, you think I'm denouncing you? We got a problem in our community. What's the problem in the community? People say, this nigga keep teaching about the black woman being God, and the women are being suppressed and subjugated because he's trying to get women. I already have 3 wives. Did it ever dawn to people that the reason why I speak with such conviction about black women is because I actually love them? 1, because I actually come from them. 2, and because I'm a father and I got nothing but women children in my house? When I teach this doctrine, I'm not teaching because I want a woman in my life. I'm teaching this doctrine because I'm a concerned parent. And I have to make sure you're properly educated if you give birth to men children. Because your men children will be espoused to my women children. And I'll be damned if I have a man come into any one of my daughters' lives and subjugate them. Right. Tell them some crazy shit about them God. And you can't speak unless you go home, because when you're in the church, that's an obscenity. It's insane if you speak in the church. You got to go home. You gotta go home and you gotta question and then ask your man. That's bullshit. Your name is Supreme Mathematics Allah, and you God. But the second I say the black woman is great, you tell me, well, she could get more jobs than us, the white man give her more jobs than us. Hold up. You God. Why you don't create a system where your woman can work for her family? See, 1 minute you God, but then when we hold you accountable, then there's another problem. I'm not against men, I'm a man myself. But what people are misunderstanding is that I'm a father and I love my daughters. So I have to teach this information so it can get into people's minds so they can teach their children right. Because if a young man comes in the house and he has girlfriends calling him, we'll say he's a little player. Look at him, heartbreaker. But if a woman do it, she's a hoe. People say, how come your wives show their back? Show their shoulders. Look at their shoes, they high heels. How come their jeans tight? Every nigga they mom say go back to Africa. The garb I got on is African American clothing. This ain't an African garb. African garb is your buttocks out and titties out. That's African garb.
That's right. That's right.
So I get it. I know what you want me to do. You want me to make sure that the women that I'm with are not attractive to me. So when I'm walking with her, I can be looking at all the other women. No. When I'm with my wives, I want my eyes on my wives. I do not want to look at somebody else in that manner. So I say, dress the way you want to dress. They're not dressing less than conservative. But I'm saying, we as men have a tendency to meet a woman and she looks beautiful to us, and then when we have her out of insecurity, we want her wearing all sorts of long t-shirts and shit, not showing her figure, not showing her shape, and then eventually you convince yourself she's not attractive. You want to leave her home and you want to come out here and do the knowledge and meet women. Every time you come to a damn lecture, you look single. And you know you got a wife at home. But you want to get the knowledge in here and teach her the diction while you come out here and get the doctrine. And people get mad at me. I'm mad about this, man. I'm a concerned father.
Oh, shoot.
Just picture me. Picture me having my baby girl coming home because some nigga went to her and said, I love you, you're the only one in my life. Leave her, same day, go to another house and tell some other woman the same shit. You know this is going on.
Yeah.
And when you teach about it, niggas is mad because the gig is up, because their wife might get a hold of the DVD and say, hold on, how come you're not bringing me to class? What Polight says is kind of deep. How come you don't let people know that you in a relationship? See, we've been playing slick, so when people teach this information about uplifting the woman, it's not so much that people think it's a feminist doctrine, it's because people are monopolizing off the downtrodden women of our community. And they know the gig is up, because it was one thing when the women teach it, but we say she's feminist and she's a lesbian. Now a man's teaching it, now you want to call the man a homosexual and he's polygynous at the same time? You can't get away with it no more. You have to be held accountable. Look, every 5 minutes, we have condemned our women down to religion and said that she ate the damn apple. All the religions disagree with each other. All the religions agree on one thing, and that's the woman sinned and caused the fall of humanity.
Eat the apple.
Goddamn apple. Ain't no such word as apple in the scriptures. I speak Hebrew. The word apple isn't even in Genesis.
Right.
Where the hell did apple come from? What apple have you eaten that caused you to realize you was naked and sew fucking fig trees and use it as an apron? This is crazy shit.
It so is.
Crazy.
Crazy.
And then our women gotta grow up thinking they're responsible for the fall of humanity because some damn apple? You're just trying to get a woman. No. I'm trying to make sure that my baby girl doesn't have to grow up like most women. Most women have to grow up, first of all, seeing that their woman, the main woman in their life, their mother, in and out of relationships over and over and over again. I ain't saying women don't have problems too. I'm saying too many children have to watch the inconsistency of relationships. And it don't stop with their mother crying as they watch their mother go through hell in relationships. They watch their aunt go through it. They watch their aunt be lied to by men. They watch their best friends be lied to by men. Then they get in relationships and they get lied to by men. And the nigga say anything in his power just to have sex with her. And you know it's true. You know it's true. Look, and she even showed her legs a little bit. This is a homosexual society. Black women come out looking nice and beautiful. She need to cover it up. Oh, turn your head. Excuse me, I'm supposed to turn my head because an attractive sister walked by me? That's crazy. But no, it gets deeper. And she so much as show her shoulder or wear fishnet stockings or a halter top, she's a whore. But a nigga could go to Lincoln Terrace Park, do pull-ups and dips, and come out with a shirt off, whoring like a motherfucker out there, trying to be seen. And ain't nobody gonna call him a whore. Does anybody call a black man a whore when he's out there with his shirt off? No. But let a woman go out there and she has a beautiful body and a figure. She's called a hoe just for showing her body because she's proud of herself. You can be proud of your body without being a hoe.
Even women breastfeeding in public have problems.
Look down at. Look down upon. Look how sick we've become. We're judging each other by European standards.
There it is.
These are the ones that are sick in their head, bringing this stuff to us. Got our women trying to get as slim as can be. Why? To fit the European construct.
Yeah. That's true.
We the ones, we got these beautiful women with these nice shapes and figures, and we trying to reduce them to some European figure. I be feeling sorry for Chinese people. They look like they got one long back. When they get ready to sit down, I be thinking they back on bleed or some shit. I can't even understand what they sitting on. Niggas got one long back and trying to sit down. They look like they about to crack and bleed. And you over here gonna turn on your black woman for her?
Teach my brother.
Man, that's all hump a piece of cardboard. We have the best woman on the planet and everybody knows that. You watch a white man pick a black woman, he gonna go for the cream of the crop, the darkest one with the biggest afro. We over here playing BET games. They get you to turn on each other and then they go and snatch you from your own community. And guess what? After the men demonize you so much, you can't blame a black woman for going ahead and deal with one of these Chinese men or white men because they know how to treat you when they get in the presence of God. Now people gonna say, yo, you're telling them to go to white men and Chinese men. No, I'm not. I'm saying I can't blame a woman who watch her mother go through it, watch her mother's friends go through it, watch her aunt go through it, watch her best friend go through it, and she had to bear witness to it 3 or 4 occasions. What the hell you think you're doing? You turning her against her own community. You turning her against men of her community. You worse than the damn crack you talk about.
Right.
You did not learn that shit from the white man. That's some sick shit you did. You learned his doctrine of subjugation of the women and you flipped it and gave it your spin on it.
Yeah.
Now you're doing it to your own women. Now you're turning her against her own black community. You're turning her against her own men. Because when she looks at us, we're a damn disgrace. If it don't apply to you, don't get all crazy. If it don't apply to you.
That's right.
This is for most of the brothers in the community. I'm not even going to front like just a little bit. Let me show you how sick we are as a people. I'm going to come to your diabetes stuff. This is in my spirit right now, brother. I'm going to show you how sick we are as a community. We will set up a Masonic hall. We will set up a Masonic hall and tell the women that they can't come into the Masonic hall because the brothers is having a meeting. We will set up a mosque to pray to Allah and tell the woman she can't come in because she's bleeding, she's on her menses. And in our black community, we got all our women going into shelters. You mean to tell me one of these mosques can't get turned into a shelter?
I'm telling you. Hello?
Niggas got synagogues and all sorts of shit that they link up with and tell you that you ate the damn apple. Tell you can't come because you menstruating. Tell you can't come because you got a Masonic lodge. Them niggas act like they ain't come here by way of the womb of their mother. How the hell you not gonna have an outlet for the women that give birth to the next generation? So you can erect the Masonic temple, you can erect the mosque, you can erect the synagogue, you can erect 5% of school of knowledge, but you can't create one goddamn baby care center. You can't create a birthing center.
Right?
You see how women being subject to disease when they go into these shelters, and y'all gonna build another damn mosque? To do what? To tell women that you God and she can't pray on you when she menstruating? We lost our goddamn minds, man. And we entertain these niggas when they start speaking. And the reason this shit makes me cry, because I'm looking at my daughters and I'm saying, yo, I can't have them grow up and wonder why the hell we ain't create a better way for them. See, people think this shit is a joke. I'd be mad, man. I was a Crip superior. I would do anything to kill one of my own. I had a teardrop under my eye. I was locked up for murder. It's amazing I'm still alive today to teach. And now I'm doing the right thing and niggas is attacking me. Why? Because I want to make sure that my daughters are with strong black men. So I teach them be independent. People say, why are you teaching your daughters to be independent? Because niggas is economically trapping our sisters so they can't get out the relationship. Most of these women would not even be in a relationship with the men they with if they could afford to get out. Niggas is trapping the women. They learn that shit from the slave master.
Yes.
So I say, nah, hell no. When he come there trying to give you McDonald's and show us little fucking hoopty, show your bins. Tell him now, my father did better than that. Tell my father did better than that. Because if they don't have a father in the house, who the hell are they gonna use as a template to decide who should be their man? So as a father, you have to set the bar high. So no nigga could just come in there and spin circles around their head. Be a responsible and successful father. So your daughter would get someone likened to you. Come on real quick, y'all. These are my daughters, 13, 14, and 4 years old. These two are authors of their own books. This little one right here. A lot of y'all may have saw her. She speaks 4 languages. She's 4 years old. Y'all may have saw a YouTube clip teaching.
Yep.
And you gotta look at them. Look at them. And tell me we shouldn't be teaching and preparing the way for them to make sure they're not demonized by their own people. Where's the support? See, Negroes like coming out and teaching to the community. Tell them bring their family outside. Let's see how their family look. Let me see if you only teach when you outside. I bring my family everywhere I go. I don't do one lecture without my family. My wife's always present. My children are always present. They with me. My family's with me. So it says in verse 15, and I will put enmity. And the word they put for enmity, okay, is a var. They said, I will put enmity between thee and the woman, Isha, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head. That head, the word for head is rosh. It also means, aside from the physical head, it means leader, military captain, chief, head of state. So we got to read in its right context. So it says, and between thy seed and her seed. Hold on, who's thy seed and her seed? They talking about the devil. It says, I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It's funny how they put thy there. They should have said between the devil's seed. The word for seed is zerah, which means what? Semen or offspring. So they're telling you that they're going to put enmity or evar, which means hatred. They said they're going to put hatred between the devil's children and Eve's children. Man is not in the equation. Between the devil's children and Eve's children. It said, I will put enmity, which is hatred, between thee and the woman, and between thy seed, offspring, the devil's offspring, and her seed, Zephra, her offspring. It shall bruise thy head, or bruise her head of state, or her chief, or her captain, the leader of her military. And thou shalt bruise his heel. This is funny when they got the word for heel, because this word heel is shoe. And this means, heel means the people of the forefront for the military, meaning her protection. They're talking about the woman's protection. And thou shalt bruise his heel, right? Or his line of defense. So we found the captain or the chief being Rosh, and we found the heel being the chain of command, just right behind him. Of course, this has to be read in the right context based on the Hebrew. We read it in English. This is going to be like, yo, Polight talking about a military in the Bible. You should have heard us talking about rocket ships like 2 Wednesdays ago. People thought we was bugging out. But we read it in the context of the language that it was written in. We find out that part of this curse is hatred between the devil's children and the woman's children. Part of this curse is that the man, her man, is going to be broken down. Therefore, she won't have no defense, because his first line of defense is going to be broken down. We got to watch the dysfunction that's taking place. And it says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. The word for conception is heron. Okay, conception means childbirth. Heron means childbirth. So it's saying the woman, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, thy birthing pains. In thy sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. And the concordance number for children is 1121. 1121. 1121. The word for children, though, in Hebrew is yedalim. Yedalim means children. They didn't put that word here, though. The word they put for she will be cursed to give birth to children is the word they put bane. What does bane mean? Bane means sons. See, Hebrew is very specific. You can have women children, you have men children, you have children that were never breastfed, you have children inclusive of male and female. And this particular case is telling you that the woman will be cursed to give birth to male children. Before people say Polight is pushing feminism, before people say Polight hates men, I'm reading the scripture based on its original context. So here we have women that understand what it means to deal with or deal with the reality of Heron. Heron means conception or childbirth. So it's clear that women understood what childbirth was, or Eve knew what childbirth was, because the part of the curse is I'm going to bring about pain in childbirth. So she been giving birth to children because she understood this. The problem that comes in is the curse is you will give birth to male children. That's what it says in here. I'm not saying this. People, I gotta keep reminding people of this because people have hardships when you start giving back. Oh, Polight is pushing. Men are not necessary. I think men are necessary. I just think they're secondary. So now you have, again, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, which is Heron. In thy sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. In thy labor thou shalt bring forth male children. The word for male children is bane. It's bane. Bane is male children. Like Ben, son, bane is male children. Male child. This is Genesis 3:16. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over you. Right? Rule, which the word for rule is moshel, which means to reign over or gain control, which means to not have control prior, but to have control now. Didn't have control then, but have control now. So just imagine if all those women that fill up our churches were to find out that when she gains back the grace of God, she is the ruler again. And part of her falling out of grace with God, right, was to give birth to something different, like male children. And part of the curse is that these male children will gain control over her, which gives us an intimation that she had control over her own life. Imagine if the pastor was breaking this down and saying, I was your cursed girl. You have to raise up and become a leader in society again and stop letting the man rule you. Imagine. Then his ass wouldn't be teaching from the pulpit no more. You would be. See, when the woman gains grace by God, according to the scriptures, when she gains grace by God, she has the ability to rule again. Which means women were the initial rulers, according to scripture. I only go into scripture today because a lot of us religious. And we claim we conscious, but then when I say the black woman is God, the niggas start going back into scripture. And why he made Adam first, and da-da-da-da. So they say, okay, we like playing selective. We don't like the scriptures, but then when we want to prove our chauvinistic points, we want to run back to the scriptures. So I'm like, okay, I'll rock with you. Because the difference between me and them, they don't speak the language in the scriptures. I do. So I know what they're saying. Okay? Like for instance, when Muslims pray that they seek refuge in Allah's yielding ability and His mercy, they have this word here, Ar-Rahim. When they say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahim. What is this saying? They seek refuge in Allah's yielding ability and mercy? No. This word is the word womb. So when they say Ar-Rahim, they are not seeking refuge from Allah's mercy or being grateful because of Allah's mercy. They're seeking refuge in Allah's womb. So if you seek refuge in what they say Allah Ta'ala, phonetically it's Allah, Allah, not Allah Ta'ala. They play games. Or Negroes who join the religion and help their oppressor oppress their women. Because if we knew that Allah had a womb, Ar-Rahim, if we knew He's seeking refuge in Allah's womb, then this would imply that Allah was a woman. Unless you're going to tell me Allah is a male deity with a womb, then now we have to guess if he's a hermaphrodite, if he's intersexual. It brings up a whole bunch of categories. So people say XX and XY is Mayat. And I say, I don't know what the hell Mayat is. You know why? Because I speak the language. You will write Mayat. This is Mayat. And when you speak the language, you understand. When you're Europeanized, you make European mistakes. The word there is, this is a meme, ayin, or meme, ayin, aleph, and ta. That's the word, what we call Mayat. So first of all, what we call Mayat doesn't make sense. Because the ayin, because we in English don't understand how to pronounce ayin, we have a tendency to try to pronounce the letter, the name of the letter in the word. So we'll try to say Mayat, Mayat, and then eventually it turned into Mayat. So first part of balancement is the proper pronunciation. When you have an ayin conjoined to an aleph, it comes ah. That's how you say it. Ah. So it'd be ma'at, not mayat. Not mayat. That's an English mistake. Because of English influence, we don't understand the letter ayin. We try to say ayin while we're mixing it with the letter M, and it turns into mayat, and then eventually we start saying mayat. That's the first problem. Second problem is, if you're telling me balance is based on XX and XY chromosome, and that's my at, and all things exist in duality, my next question is, so then what about the XXY chromosome? Or the YXX chromosome? Or the YXY? Or the XYX? You know, people won't apologize after that. After they disrespect me and say, that's not balancement, XX and XY, that's not balancement. Then they disrespect me. So then I say, first of all, you're mispronouncing mayat. It's mayat. That's first of all. Second of all, there's more than just XX and XY. Third of all, the Y chromosome is degenerate in contrast to the X chromosome. That doesn't mean you as a man have to get offended. Why? Because there are over 120,000 chromosomes that deal with gender specification. Someone miseducated us and told us we only can associate with the Y chromosome. So you see, if people ask me questions, then we will learn and we wouldn't have to insult each other. But instead, they call me a faggot. They say I'm a feminist. And I'm saying, brother, I'm trying to educate you. I told you the Y chromosome is degenerate in contrast to the X. And you got so upset with me, you wouldn't allow me to keep educating you to tell you don't have to pick the Y chromosome to associate to yourself. You can pick another chromosome. Why the Y? There's over 120,000 gender-specific chromosomes. Why pick the most degenerate one out of them all? And the biggest problem is to explain to people the first XY combination didn't come from what we phenotypically perceive as a male. The first XY beings were females. You see, that's another problem with people. But I got in my book, Desecration of the Womb. Got the facts there, but people don't want facts. People want oppression and subjugation for the woman. It doesn't make me less of a man because I worship and honor women. I know what the word worship means. I worship women. How can I not? I came from one. It's common sense. So now we have what? You keep going. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men. We see another quote in Genesis 6:2-6:4. The sons of God saw the daughters of men. They actually plugged in the word for daughters and the word for sons. They made a distinction here so people won't act crazy. The concordance number is 1323. Banot, which tells you the word for daughters. So if they wanted to say the word daughters, they would have put Banot there. They put she was cursed to give birth to male children there. I didn't say that. The scripture said that. See, we like using the scriptures to our advantage to oppress our women, but then when the truth comes out and we realize all world religions have their inception in the worship of women, now we want to close the books and get conscious again, so-called. So I'm back in the scriptures again, because they've been taught us the truth. It's the people teaching from it, not teaching us the truth. So we can go on. Go down, baby. Go down, keep going down. So these are a bunch of other words that are used. Bunch of other words that are used for children in the scriptures. Zerah, which means offspring, they didn't use that word. Bakar, which means firstborn, they didn't use that word. Yanek, which means suckling, a child that's being breastfed, they didn't use that word. Gamul, which means weaned child, they didn't use that word. Elam, which means child becoming firm, they didn't use that word. Nar, which means youth or servant, they didn't use that word. Yatham, which means fatherless child, they didn't use that word. Bakla, the ripened one, a young warrior, they didn't use that word, they used Bain. I gave you all the verses in the scripture that use these words, so you don't think I'm making it up. They chose to use Bain, sons, and say part of her punishment, this could have been the birth of the degenerate Y chromosome in contrast to the X. They could have actually identified this in time. This is another thing. Let's go here.
I'm out of wu-nuwaupu,
tahune. La kunga wu-nuwaupu hina kala nama zume. Bo wapa town sa uche la gome 5 foot 9 liba ya uche la dume. Nuwaupu hu yera ha yo we mera mushiba karutungi. Now I see here a house of umni karu sudiba fida umni. Leon Rus memba haku. Atuf na found hula hoop tenda you. Atuf lema hu wasuni na da hu gakuspa haru ha uga tafu. Leon kutem hine ku yahu yukina zika won di ine ku maru. Kato hata mazalu ana won kalu hina kwaku kamu hata bakamun. Yeah, y'all can't get that. That's for the next album. And then this would imply she was only giving birth to women children. But we say how and why. Well, they have such a thing called parthenogenesis. And this right here is what they call an ovarian tumor or an ovarian cyst. And what you'll find, lower baby, what you'll find, higher. These so-called tumors develop skulls. Remember, when we say ovarian, first of all, we gotta look at the word ovate, which is egg cell. Egg cell. You know the egg cell that gets fertilized by sperm. We find that if women keep these ovarian tumors for a long period of time, they develop into skulls, they wind up having teeth, they wind up growing hair, they wind up growing feet, and what they do is abort your tumor. Anybody understand what I'm saying when I say they abort your tumor? These are women who haven't been having sex. These are women that's in menopause. They get it the most amongst everyone else.
They cut out the cancer.
They cut out the so-called cancer. And look how these cancer cells develop into children. And they rip them out and tell you it's a tumor. Imagine if you had a tumor ripped out of you that had a whole head, had feet, had teeth, and had hair. And you saying, I'm not even having sex. You see, the biggest secret is that our women are gods. And guess what? We're coming into a time, we're coming into a paradigm shift. So we're coming into a day and time where everything that was will be again. And those of us that want to refute the feminine energy, we're going to be destroyed in the process by virtue of our ignorance. This is a reality. Go ahead, baby. Where we at with it? Where we at with it? Okay. Peace, brother. Yes. So now let's go into Jesus' breastfed. Question. This is the biggest question. We have to zoom this in or something. Oh man, you know what? Give me the picture of the sister. Give me the picture of the sister. We need this information. I don't know why it's so difficult to understand the divinity of our women. How many of you ever heard of Henrietta Lacks? Just two of us. That's good. Today, that means somebody definitely gonna learn something. They ain't learned nothing else. Henrietta Lacks. You can pull up that data. Do you know that this woman has over 5 billion cells alive today? You know how heavy 5 billion cells are? She's not obese. She's dead, actually. They still got over 5 billion of her cells to this very day. A black woman named Henrietta Lacks. Why is that? Because they use the blood to cure diseases. So they've been cloning her cells from the day she's alive to now. And she's not the first black person, and particularly black woman, that they've been using as a guinea pig. They still growing her cells years after she died to cure diseases that black people are subjected to and saying there's no cure for. Henrietta Lacks. So it's good only 2 people knew about her. Because you know they're not going to teach us about her. Because we got to try to find the Caucasians in our communities that we can rely on their blood for. No, they're the hemophiliacs, love of blood. They're the vampires. They take the blood. We produce the blood. Breast milk banks. What are the breast milk banks filled of? Black women's milk. You don't see them pushing the strollers for these Jew babies?
Yeah.
They hate you, right? But you're good enough to raise their children? That don't make no sense. That make no sense. So let's look at Henrietta Lacks. Her name was Henrietta Lacks, but scientists know her as Gila. She was a poor southern tobacco farmer who worked the same land as her slave ancestors. Yet her cells taken without her knowledge became one of the most important tools in medicine. The first immortal human cells grown in culture. They are still alive today. They said immortal. And we tell you the black woman is God, and y'all getting upset at us. But even the white man confesses to your divinity. Why are we fighting against it? Don't make no sense. They call ourselves the first immortal human cells grown in culture. They are still alive today, though she has been dead for more than 60 years. If you compile all the Gila cells ever grown onto a scale, they weigh over 50 million metric tons. As much as 100 Empire State Buildings. They call ourselves the first immortal human cells grown in culture. They are still alive today, though she has been dead for more than 60 years. If you compile all the Gila cells ever grown onto a scale, they weigh over 50 million metric tons. As much as 100 Empire State Buildings. Do you hear that? They kept this woman's cells alive and grew them to the point it weighs over 100 Empire State Buildings. Hella cells were vital for developing the polio vaccine, uncovered secrets of cancer, viruses, and the effects of the atomic bomb. Helped lead to important advances like in vitro fertilization, cloning, and gene mapping, and here have been bought and sold for millions of dollars. They've been selling this black woman's blood for millions of dollars. She's not the only one. You might be a victim. Because you go in the hospital and say, you got a headache. Okay, let's take some blood. You say, my stomach hurt. Let's take some blood. And they give you Benadryl on the way out.
Yes.
Crazy. They have 14 new vaccines for the baby. She come out. By the time your child in 3rd grade, your child would have had over 95 vaccines. If you got an itch in your butt, they'll take your blood. They don't play. These are the real vampires. Oh man, don't even ask for your placenta. What you gonna do with that? You gonna eat it? Yeah. It's like a cardinal sin if a black woman want to keep her placenta. Don't let the man be conscious and the woman not conscious. While you talking, they just ignore you, be talking to her all day.
And the foreskin, remember the Atlanta child murders?
That's right.
In the foreskin, they was getting the melanin to make the interferon drug. That's like $1 million.
We better start understanding. You better keep the before birth, the during birth, and the after birth. In fact, don't even go to your hospitals.
I told myself,
Yo, it's real. Stop going to your hospitals. Yo, we be saying the white man's the devil, and the second you're white pregnant, you send the woman there, your wife, right, to be touched up by this pale beast to deliver your child. We say the white man's the devil, and we the first ones send our children to school to be the subjects of his educational system. So I told people this year, I don't want to hear that white man's the devil shit till I start seeing change. My children homeschooled, 12. Well, they changed birthdays recently, 13 and 14, and they're authors. Their books is right up there. Outline of Alkaline Cookbook, and in my father's house there are many mansions, a book on solar numerology. They're 12 and 13 years old. My 4-year-old girl right here speaks 4 languages. I know a lot of y'all saw the YouTube clips. But guess what? She never been vaccinated.
That's right. That's right.
You know how Negroes mess with your mind? Everybody says, yo, your baby looks so healthy. I told my father, the baby looks so healthy. She looks strong. Look at that glow on her skin. Then he said, what's she eating? I said, she ain't eating nothing the first 3 years of her life. What? Look how bony she's looking. She's looking frail. Her hair looking crazy. Yeah, she's not eating chicken. I say, yo, look at this amaranth and fonio. That look like bird feed.
What is that?
I'm like, yo, it definitely do, but it tastes good.
It's good, it's good.
But she ain't never been sick.
That's right.
For 4 years.
That's right.
Speak 4 languages. Yeah, I'm real jealous of the red number 40 children running into walls on purpose. Very jealous. Very jealous. It's to the point if we let our children go to these corner stores, to the point you might as well let them wear a helmet everywhere they go from the time they leave the house. Because they will run into some shit on purpose. They'll take a running start too. They won't take a short run either. Red number 40 really distorts your perception. And it's in all these candies and foods called the convenience stores, conveniently there before they have to take a test. Break you down mentally. Henrietta Lacks, y'all, I'm telling you, it's great that y'all found out about her. Take her name down, look it up. This is your story.
They still sending her to all them laboratories.
She's still alive. And her family found out they cloned her.
And they found a lawsuit.
And guess what? She's not the only one. Look, giving birth in the hospital just went down about 50 years ago. Everybody was doing it in the house. 50 years ago, everybody was giving birth in the house. This is new. You know how they G you up? You'll go, your wife will be pregnant. You know what they do? They come out with these bags and roll in these carts. Hurry up, hurry up. Let's induce the labor. Hold on, get the needles. You be saying, damn, I ain't have the rolling cart. I ain't had the bags in my house. Good thing I showed up today. They put on a show. They put on a show. Then they make the sister give birth laying down. Would you take a shit laying down? Imagine how difficult that would be. You go against gravity, and then you wonder why so many of our women are suffering from paralysis. You're going against gravity. So you say squat. You know the baby might hit their head. If she doesn't squat, the baby might not come out. Well, what about that shit? That's right. That's even worse. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how they got us thinking. But you see, once they start that ritual, right? Because Rite Aid is what? Right? R-I-T is ritual. Yeah. Pharmacy in Greek is what? Sorcery. Sorcery, yeah. Yes. So they work in sorcery on us and rituals in the name of giving birth. Yes. Then imagine what they do in the play center. You can't just be a teacher no more. You have to be a teacher/warrior. You can't just be bright and brilliant and someone push you down. We gotta be able to be strong, show our vigor, and speak with conviction about the things that we know is true. So the children can be impressed and say, you know what, I need to take this as serious as my parents. Don't keep allowing them to write your story. Don't keep allowing them to write your story. Because if you wait for them to tell you how brilliant we are, you'll never know. So tomorrow we're going to go into was Jesus breastfed, the second part. Well, there's no, you know, how many of you gave birth to children? Obviously be Xing out the men, I hope. Okay, there you go. Is it true, right? Because people be saying I'm BSing, but I got the information in my book. When a woman gives birth to a child, there's an electrical current that leaves her nipples, discharges from her nipples, and shocks the child. Therefore, when the milk is ready, the child wakes up simultaneously. If you had a child and you breastfed, how many of you bear witness to the milk, when the milk is done in your teats, when your mammary glands are ready to secrete the milk, how many of you realize when the milk is ready in your chest that the baby coincidentally woke up at the same time? Yes. It seemed like the baby just had your breast synchronized. What does the man nipple send an electrical current when he got beef with somebody? Does it zap Simon and say, nigga, I don't like you? What does the man nipples do?
Wi-Fi. It looks good.
So I'm not trying to denounce man. I'm saying there's a lot of things about our women that we need to investigate and explore. Because once you investigate and explore who and what the woman is, you tend to have a more profound perspective of who she is, and you tend to be in a state of worship. And there's nothing wrong with she worship you back. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's gotten to the point. It's as though we're all homosexuals but want a woman at the same time. When you disrespect women, it's as though you don't want a woman. It doesn't make sense. If you explore the magnificence and the glory of the black woman, you will submit to her. And you will acknowledge her for the great woman and gender and being that she is. But first you got to do the knowledge. Once you do the knowledge, then you got reason to respect her. So you can't just tell people no more respect black women. Give them the knowledge on who and what the black woman is, so by default they can bear witness. Now if they don't, we know we dealing with someone retarded. Because you can't get this information and still treat her bad and degrade her and subjugate her. So again, we're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to go to Jesus Breastfed. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
I'm out of wu-nuwaupu, calling out the
Muni, La Kunga, wu-nuwaupu, Hina Kala Namazume, Bawapa Pound, Sa, Chill, Gome, 5 foot 9, Liba Yam, Chill, Dume, Luapu, Hu Yera, Hayu, Mera, Mushiba, Karabutungi, now I see her a house of Umni, Karus, Diba, Fida, Umni, Leon Rus, Memba Haku, a tooth never hula, who tender you, a tooth lama, who was neat, nada, who got Luspa, Haru, Hauka, Tavu, Leaku, Tem, Hine, Kuyaku, Yukina Zika, won't dig in and cool my road, Kato Hatamazalu, Ana, Won, Kalu, Hinawaku, Kang, Atabakamut. Yeah, y'all can't get that. That's for the next album.